Do you think it is better? Let's say let's say you have somebody who's married, faithful for all his life and was with one soul. Or do you think it's better to have been single and to meet as many souls as possible? What's better for the soul? Marriage is probably high risk, low reward for men and low risk, high reward for women. So it's...
Why do you say that?
Because, you know, he said there are angels.
Yeah.
Is there a devil?
Don't go and see the second Doctor Strange movie, but I'm going to tell you how this movie was completely littered in black magic.
What's black magic then? You went to Egypt.
Yes.
What did you see?
Welcome to Beyond the Physical, a podcast that uncovers the secrets to tapping into the world beyond form to thrive in life and business. I'm your host, Sitara Fe, a world-renowned psychic medium, quantum business coach, and your guide on this journey beyond the physical. Each episode will dive into spiritual insights, intuitive wisdom, and practical strategies to help you discover your personal greatness. Please feel free to find me on Instagram and YouTube at sitara.speaks for daily connection. Thank you for joining us, and let's get started. Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Physical podcast with your host, me, Sitara Fe, and my absolutely dear brother, Radin. Hello, and welcome.
Namaste. Now everybody thinks I'm a monk. Namaste. Imagine I was like a monk this whole time.
Go for it.
No.
Let's see what happens.
No.
All right, Radin, thank you so much for joining us. You and I met at AWA, which ironically was actually a building that brought me here to Dubai this time around. But I had the absolute honor to be a guest on your podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also how you decided to get your podcast going?
I run a podcast in Dubai, and I do it in a car, as you know. And it's very casual. I don't have my shoes on. Did you take your shoes off?
I think so.
Yeah. We don't have our shoes on. And we just do our thing, you know. Before we came on the podcast, you were talking about how you have a relationship with Gaia.
Yes.
Which is the consciousness of the earth.
Yes.
Do you have... what about the consciousness of Mars? Is that also called Gaia?
No.
What's that called?
That's a completely different topic, but
okay.
Right now we're going to talk about you because I have a specific interest in origin stories, and specifically origin stories of planets, origin stories of ancient civilizations, origin stories of religions. That is, even since I was a little girl, I care a lot about how things began, how things got started. I learned very young that, like, in religion, there's a lot of focus on where we go when we die, which for me, the equally important question was, how did we get here? How did this start? So just for a little bit of backstory for our viewers who have not connected with you or your podcast, which, by the way, I have so many questions about how you have met some of the guests that you have brought onto yours. But I would like to know how and why you decided to start in Dubai and specifically start your podcast. Like, what ideas came up, what certain things happened in your life that inspired you to actually, like, pull the trigger and go?
So, very good question. But I have a question. Let me finish my question. This looks like a man-made structure in Mars.
Okay.
Do you have any... can you tap into anything to find out what that is?
This is the first time I'm seeing this.
Okay.
And it is, news to me. It does...
Kind of look like the pyramids that you just visited.
I mean, it looks like a square.
Right? And if you imagine thousands of years of erosion, it could be a pyramid.
Could
man-made.
be.
It looks like something man-made.
Okay.
And they found this photo on Mars, and I wanted to know if you could tap into that and find out what that is, because you talked about the consciousness about Earth.
Yes, but not right now, because for me to tap into that, I would have to get into a channeling space. Right now, we're having a conversation. I could tap into that a little bit more, and that would just completely turn this whole thing around into a different.
I'm just interested in
different
this stuff,
tangent,
as you can tell. moved to Dubai. Didn't really know anyone. Knew nobody actually.
Okay.
And didn't know how to meet people. And well, no, it's not that I didn't know how to meet people, but was looking for a catalyst to meet as many people as possible in the quickest amount of time. Mm-hmm. Putting myself in a position where they have to impress me. So, at first it was like, so I had the car. I have a car that's designed to be chauffeured.
Okay.
And I thought I'm going to do a podcast here. And so I did that. And at first it was like, what's your cleaner doing today? Does she want to do a podcast? Everyone's got a story. And then once you've got clips, and I got lucky because I dated a little bit, and I dated a celebrity from Syria.
Okay.
And so she kind of put me in touch with people and stuff like that. So I got lucky with that. And yeah, and then one thing after another. And the thing is, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to fucking swear here? I fucking hope so. I love it. I love podcasting. I'll podcast forever. Mm-hmm. I'll podcast forever until I'm 80. Right?
I love this.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
And, you know, look, there's a lot of people that message me wanting to come on the podcast. And even my friends say, you should get her on the podcast. She's got this many viewers and, you know, it'll be good for your channel. I couldn't care less.
Right.
I want to do podcasts with people that I'm interested in.
That there's a spark.
You know, if I'm interested,
right?
I want to know. What do you want me to do? Sit there with a real estate agent and be like, where do you think the property prices will be in 2 years? Couldn't give a fuck. Or the property. Like, it's
right.
just not, I'm not interested in it.
Right.
So that's why, for me, I like to do podcasts with conversations that I want to have. That's why when I met you and you told me what you do, I was like...
It was like immediate. You asked me within like 30 seconds.
Straight away,
connecting.
I was like, no way. Is that what you do? Okay. You want to do a podcast?
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Which for a lot of people would be a dream come true because people ask me consistently again and again. They just don't get the picture. But I do it with who I want to do it.
Right.
So that's what led me here. And I met a lot of people very quickly. In the 2 years that I've been in Dubai, I have more contacts here than I have after 30 years in Australia.
I believe that. I believe it. And I mean, Dubai is such a hot spot for interesting people.
Yeah.
There's so many one-of-a-kinders here, as I call them.
Yeah.
But the reason specifically that I ask is because Monad, my business, is focused around helping people find their soul purpose and then actually turning that into their legacy. And so I believe that when you are aligned with your soul and what you came into this world to do, things just line up effortlessly. But there's a lot of people that are still getting out of like the programming of growing up, the viral systemic belief system, having the brick on their head, not being able to move out of it. And so that's why I was asking a little bit more of how you got started and how you kind of got over those like roadblocks that would have otherwise stopped you. And I do believe that podcasting in a way is, it is a sole purpose activity because I believe that there are so many voices that need to be heard in this world right now that are silent. Mm-hmm. And so I believe that podcasting is a way to actually give people that may be otherwise either afraid or don't have the platform themselves or whatever it is to start getting their voices heard so that we can all learn from the different life experiences that we have.
Yeah, correct. And I think why I did it, I mean, I told my sister, what do you think about if I do a podcast back here? And she's like, oh my God, you'd be perfect for it. And I thought, really? And it highlighted to me that other people know your strengths more than you do. Mm-hmm. So because she told me to do it, I did it. But it was just like tongue in cheek as a joke. Yeah. Like, I'm bored. I'm not really doing anything in Dubai. Should I do this? That would be amazing. Do it. So
nailed it.
That's what
nailed
happened.
it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a beautiful thing of alignment is that it's so effortless and it's so easy that I feel like a lot of people actually miss it.
Yeah.
Like what comes most natural to us, we often don't even think that could be a business or that could be a plan or that could be anything because it's just so easy. And I think a lot of us, we have to break down that idea that something has to be hard in order for it to be like worth our while or to make money or like that we kind of earn points for struggling. And I don't agree with that. I think it's kind of an addiction that we get ourselves looped in sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been such a blessing to have met you, been on your podcast, and then see who some of these people are. You had a recent guest on that really just kind of blew my mind. And I feel like there was a lot that probably even happened for you. So I want to hear on a personal level, like, what are some of the topics that you've had with guests that have surprised you the most and had the biggest influence on your own life?
The guest you're talking about is the Tinder swindler. My enemy's after me. If anybody has some money, bank details at the bottom. Look, I mean, I've podcasted with murderers, underboss, crime family, mafia.
Interesting.
Gambino crime family, Marco Francis. So, and what a gentleman he is, right? But the Tinder swindler is just he's got a cocktail of mental health issues. Very delusional. Tells the story in his own brain to benefit him and that he's doing the right thing. You go to prison, every prisoner thinks they're a good person. Hitler thought he was a good person. So, what was the question?
The question was what topics have you had come up through conversation that just naturally flows
Yes,
that have either surprised you or brought you into like a personal shift?
Master Shri. Have you heard of Master Shri?
I have. I saw him. Yeah, I saw him speak at an event here in Dubai.
I should take you to him, actually.
I would love that.
Every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I believe he's got a class at his warehouse in Al Quoz, which is not far from here. And I should take you there. And his manifestation and stuff like that. He said some things that made me pivot. I remember that same day, I was very sensitive about my car. I was like, I fucking love this car and stuff like that, right? And then I remember that same day, my driver took me home, and then you got these poles that are like half, like waist high, and I didn't see it because obviously it's underneath the door where the window is and whatever.
Yeah. And
I opened the door and I hit it. And the person before that podcast would have been like, fuck, right? But I was like, whatever. Because I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So he got scammed 2 million, and he said my happiness was probably the same level as I am now. So he made me think different. He actually told me a crazy story which went viral. He was doing a show in China, and he was talking to hundreds of thousands of people. He's very famous. And he made eye contact with that lady that was in her 80s.
Okay.
And when he's married with kids, when he looked at her eyes, he saw his wife. And after the show, he was doing, photos and everything, and it was just him and his buddy that came there. And she came up to him and said, it's nice to finally see you again, old friend. I've been waiting many lifetimes to meet you.
Oh.
And they just knew that they were married in a previous life.
That connection was still there.
They both knew. That exists, huh?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. You find it, I mean, that's a really beautiful version of that story for sure. But I find that there's certain ways that it shows up, but for me primarily, it's that when I meet somebody and there's just an immediate level of comfort that's like, it's not like, oh, we're best friends, we love each other, la, la, la. No, it's like, wow, like I just want to sit next to you. There's a comfort here. There's a trust here. It doesn't have to be in words. It's more like an energy. And the other way that it shows up for me when it's like more prominent, but can also sometimes, to me, indicate like a future timeline, is a feeling of familiarity. Like I've actually, not just comfort, but that I've actually known this person for a long time. And it's, sometimes it can be like when you make eye contact, but sometimes it can even just be like if you're, let's say you're networking and somebody walks by and there's an energy about them that you gravitate towards them, and it's not just because of who they are. You're like, there's something happening that I can't quite put my finger on. And I was actually joking with a friend when I was in Egypt because I met this woman. She and I both intuitively felt like it was important for us to come to Dubai. I flew from the States within a matter of 3 days invitation, and she came from Egypt. And yeah, when she and I met, there was like, oh, but we wanted to get to know each other sort of thing. And then after we did, we both came for a dragon activation ceremony. And after that ceremony, it was like she and I both knew we were going to be in Egypt together. We both knew that there was things going on there. And so we also both ended up having 2 weeks free in February to be able to travel Egypt together after literally just meeting. So like, what are the odds of that experience happening? But we were walking in Luxor and I said, I really wish that there was like an Akashic Records photo book so that when you meet somebody and you have this, you're like, who were we in a past life? Like, who have we been to each other? Because it's like a closeness that's already there, but it's like, it comes from here. It comes from your core, not like an admiration or like an obsessive trauma bond sort of thing. It's like, it's literally just a deeper knowing that I feel like our body knows. Our body recognizes.
Do you think it is better? Let's say you have somebody who's married, faithful for all his life and was with one soul. Or do you think it's better to have been single and to meet as many souls as possible? What's better for the soul?
I think it depends. I think it really depends, because I've never been married and I've wondered that about myself. And I think some of it was like my childhood programming and just like, just witnessing what life brought me. So to make your question a little bit personal, there's an aspect for myself that I know my dharma is to help be a voice for the rise of the divine feminine. So I think a lot of the experiences that I've had with men in my life have helped me to tap into some of that, some in some extremely painful ways and some in some very heart-opening, expansive ways. When I look at it for myself personally, because I've had so many questions about this, I also believe that there's a certain level of initiations that certain people bring to us in our life that help us expand and help us ascend. And as well, I believe that karma is moving faster than it ever has been before, which is why, the U.S. has an interesting view around marriage, right? It's like different than a lot of other places in the world. But I do believe that we are moving in such a way that we are evolving in consciousness and that there is unfinished business from other lifetimes that is important to reconcile and clear. And some of us, I think, just have more loops than others to be able to actually kind of free our soul from this reincarnation back here to this planet. So I don't have like a cut and dry answer for that, but I think there's a lot of different ways and different perspectives that we can look at that. Because I do believe in harmony and connection. And I also believe that there's certain ways in which a person can come into our life to teach us certain lessons and offer certain initiations, and that isn't always necessarily a forever thing. And I think sometimes when we believe that it's a forever thing, even like right off the bat, or let's say within the first year, but that's not what it's meant to be. When the relationship dissolves, it can almost be more challenging and more heartbreaking because you believe so. It's almost like you create this timeline in your mind that has created this forever experience with a person, and it's not even necessarily breaking up with the person that hurts so much. It's actually breaking up with that timeline and that idea of what you thought your life was going to be. That can be extremely challenging. And it also brings you out of the present moment, where it's like the present moment in any type of relationship is where you'll find that's where the best parts are. Right? So
all right,
different ways to answer that.
Not a clear answer, but just wondering if I should stay single, meet different souls, or if I should stick to one soul.
Okay, that's a great question. Everything that I have been getting in my own channels and my own exploration around this world, I believe that I'm here as a light worker to participate on the leading edge of human development and human consciousness. I believe that I am here to help humanity evolve in some really beautiful ways. And so I've asked a lot of these questions as well. And what I continue to see is that there's a frequency that is awoken in two people when they are harmonized in absolute true love. And I think that true love has been horribly attacked in this world, especially with casual hookup culture and just like the devaluation of what is the sanctity of marriage, whether two people are with each other for their whole lives. It's like, what is the value and what is the health of that dynamic? Are they actually able to help each other grow, or has it become toxic and they're just staying together because they think that that's what needs to happen without actually finding conflict resolution? And so what I have found is that sacred union and that true love sacred union blueprint actually activates a completely different consciousness and awareness within each of the individuals that holds this frequency that is contributing to the birthing of new earth, that is contributing to the evolution of humans getting out of the slave matrix and into harmony and into a fifth dimensional consciousness, which is where I believe that we are going. So I do believe that sacred union in the sense of monogamy is ultimately the way that we are birthing the heaven on earth reality, birthing that thought into form. Sacred union as well, or let's even just say monogamy. If you think of like, if you have a water faucet that's just one stream, and let's say you split it, you're going to have a weakened stream in two different ways. You split it again, you're going to have a weakened stream in three different ways. And so it's like this harmonization of the most powerful capacity that we have to anchor light into this world, onto this planet, that helps birth that ascension. So that, for me, from my own perspective of what I believe is the most beneficial things that human can be doing in this world, it is actually working in that monogamy way. And I actually think that right now, like, to put it in bro terms, I think it's the biggest flex that guys, especially women, yes, but guys especially, to have a healthy and happy relationship with one woman, I think says a lot about a man in this day and age. And same about a woman, but I think women are more programmed to desire that than men. And so when a man is able to show up and know what it takes and the kind of character that it takes within them to actually cultivate a healthy, happy, balanced relationship, it's an extraordinary thing.
If we were to get personal, I was in a relationship for 8 years. I was engaged. Now I don't want to be in a relationship. Because when you dedicate something, when you dedicate everything to one person for 8 years, faithful, never cheated, and then it doesn't go as planned,
right?
Then you think, why do I want to put myself through that again? And also, marriage is probably high risk, low reward for men, and low risk, high reward for women. So it's...
Why do you say that?
Because... 9 times out of 10, the women get the kids in a divorce. They get 50% of their assets. And the man is just left out with 50% of the assets without seeing the kids, having to still provide for the kids and everything. So you see females weaponizing the kids against men all the time, which I've got many friends going through it right now. And it becomes scary. Right. Even in the Quran, it says, always fear a woman's revenge. So... For me, and that's why men are just kind of thinking, I don't know if this whole being with one person is a thing for me.
Right. So I believe that is an unconscious, unawakened way to see things, because we're not talking about ascension. We're talking about trauma, we're talking about hurt, and we're talking about deception, and we're talking about a lot of low-level frequencies, low-level currencies, which, trust me, I've had my fair share. I've had my heart broken by men more times than I've even willing to admit, because I've been trusting and I've been naive. So what's interesting from the female perspective is I would like to have a family. What it would take for me to have a family is to basically, in some ways, right, put my income on hold and to be fully trusting and in full surrender to a man that, from the heartbreak that I've had, is honestly one of the biggest hills for me to climb, to find that faith and that trust, to know that I'm going to be taken care of and that my children are also going to be very well taken care of by a man who is in his integrity and is in honor. Unfortunately, that is, from what I have seen, a bit few and far between. And not only that, to have a spark of chemistry and connection, right? And so from the female perspective, I think a lot of men look at it as a business transaction, but from a female perspective, we're putting our livelihood in the hands of somebody that we trust is going to take care of us, mentally, emotionally, and financially, to be able to do that. And so there's been this like onslaught of, I think, shame put on women for going into boss babe mentality and like, you know, making their own money. And I think a lot of that is from men taking advantage of not understanding the level of risk that we take as actually being the ones who get pregnant and have the children, and the toll that that takes on our body, our mentality, our ability to provide or produce or anything like that. And so when it comes from that perspective of understanding the level of trust that goes into that, it can, you know, it's not transactional. It does, there's so much more than, you know, 50% of the assets or 50% of this or that, because it's also how much of the woman's intuition also contributed to what the man was able to build. You know, if they have a balanced partnership and they have a friendship and they have a trust and they're, you know, sharing what's going on a daily basis, I think a woman's intuition can really help magnify and intensify what a man is capable of creating.
But I feel the women have it better post-divorce than men. Because they get the kids, it's more favor to them.
My father got custody of me.
Why?
Because he fought for it.
But that's also an outlier. You're talking about an outlier. I'm talking 9 times out of 10.
Right.
It's.
I think it depends on how the parents show up.
Of course, if your mum's addicted to drugs, of course the father's going to take over, right?
Well, my mom wasn't addicted to drugs.
No, I'm not saying your mum. I'm saying, did you say your was?
No.
No, it wasn't. No, I'm not saying your mum. I'm saying, of course, there's outlier situations, but I'm saying 9 times out of 10, it's more favored to women.
Well, it depends. If the man is working so much and he's not going to be able to take care of the children or spend time with them, then it would make sense for them to be with a primary caregiver that is capable of taking care of them, that's going to need financial support to make sure that the children are well.
So do you think, how old were you when your parents got divorced?
I was 1.5.
Oh, so you're a baby. Do you think the system is broken?
I think the system is broken in so many unbelievable ways that it's not even just parental divorce experiences that we're talking about. I, again, think that the system is broken in a way that doesn't give people a common understanding of conflict resolution and being able to work through things, and that the encouragement of cancel culture and just, well, if it hurts your feelings, run away and make the other person look as bad as you possibly can. I think that is a huge part of societal programming that's actually destroying marriages more than really anything else. I think a lot of it has to do with the encouragement of narcissism and me first mentality that is actually breaking down the family units, and people not having internal emotional intelligence to be able to work together. Because the idea that 2 people love each other so much that they create a family together, and then they fall apart and end up at odds with each other, just at each other's throats, it's insane. So I think before we look at the system of the courts, I think the system of not having a really basic foundation of emotional intelligence baked into the bedrock of our societies and cultures is a huge problem.
Sorry, I keep moving because I'm hot. My shirt is like sticking to my back. And the coffee's not helping either. You know, he said there are angels.
Yeah.
Is there a devil? And is the devil contributing to everything being broken coming through humans?
That's such a large topic. I think that there is light and dark that is within us. I think one of the biggest disservices that we have ever really, I think one of the biggest lies we've ever been told is that heaven is a place you go when you die, not heaven is a place that you can create here in this world, in this reality, that heaven can be your life. And I believe that the idea that God is outside of us and that the devil is outside of us is a huge fallacy. I believe that both of those energies and consciousness live within us, And the better that we can acknowledge those characteristics within ourselves, the more control we have over our life and the choices that we make. So are we maybe tempted by things outside of us? Yes. But is it also our free will choice to be able to choose which direction we go? Absolutely, yes. Like, given my life circumstances, and I'm sure you've seen this many times with the people that you've interviewed, right? People have been through hell and back and have chose to turn it around and turn it into something that is beyond beautiful. And I think that we all have that choice.
So you're saying there's the devil inside of us?
In the same way I'm saying that the spark of God lives within us.
Yeah. So you have, okay, so it's all within us. Mm-hmm. So there's not a devilish character.
It's a consciousness.
Uh-huh.
It's a frequency, it's an energy. But I wouldn't even go as far as to say the devil, right? Because the devil is like, it's an energy, it's a word that holds so much energy. And it's also almost like a scapegoat. It's like, well, the devil made me do it. No, you chose to make that decision. And so it's like taking the responsibility on our own livelihood and the way that we are moving through life, I think is far more important than even trying to understand, is there a devil or is there not? It's that, is there light in this world and is there dark? Yeah. Turn on the news. We all see it. It's blatant. It's in our face. And I also believe that part of the reason that we've gotten to this place on the planet that we have is because too many people have not faced their inner darkness. They have not faced their inner demons. They have not faced their inner association with dark because they think it's too scary, or they don't have the courage to actually acknowledge that maybe they were the villain in somebody's story and take responsibility and choose to change your character. That whole thing right there about facing your shadows is, I think, one of the most important things that any human can do. And until we do that, we will literally throw all of our own shit onto somebody else and call it their problem without taking responsibility or ownership. And that's not going to get us where we want to be.
What's black magic then?
Black magic is a magic that's used to control and manipulate people.
And black magic is real?
Very much so.
Does that not come from the devil?
I wouldn't necessarily say that it comes from... Define the devil. What do you see as the devil?
I don't know, just some... You know what I mean.
Have you heard the term gnosis?
No.
That the greatest trick the devil ever played was pretending to be God?
No.
It's an interesting concept to get into. The first time I saw that, I was, I kind of glitched. I was like, what does that actually mean? And then when you start to delineate how many things have gone on in this world in the name of God, it's really kind of an interesting thing, right? And so again, to me, it comes back to sovereignty, divine sovereignty, owning and recognizing that we are sovereign beings in this world, right? Jesus said, be in this world, not of this world. So it is the awareness that the capabilities of healing, the capabilities of expansion, the capabilities of love, of compassion, of kindness, of joy, they all live within every single one of us. But are people choosing that? Like when we look around this world, I think it's actually few and far between. And especially in Dubai, it's like so many relationships here are so transactional. What can you do for me? What can da-da-da-da-da-da? Rather than like, hi, soul to soul, it's so good to see you.
Well, it's because I think nobody went to school here with anybody. Everybody came here leaving their friends and family. But I can see, because everyone's in the same boat, everyone's building a community. Right.
There's a really beautiful, I agree.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Because there's all the communities you can think of on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many different markets to tap into. If somebody feels like somebody's done black magic on them, how do they cleanse themselves? Do you burn sage?
But that's not going to clear curses.
That's not going to clear curses.
It's not enough.
Okay.
It's like taking a bath.
Sage is like taking a bath.
Yeah. Sage is like clearing your energy. It's clearing. So as we go through the day, we pick up all sorts of stuff, right? And so if we are not, I call it energetic hygiene. If we are not taking an energetic shower, if we're not meditating, if we're not clearing our own mind of things, because how much of what we communicate is a regurgitation of something that we heard from somebody else, right? So we're all kind of these composites of our life experience. But to, one, have an energetic hygiene practice, whether that's to work out in the gym, walking. It doesn't have to be like a specific dedicated focus, but at the same time, you specifically dedicate and focus to, okay, for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to be clearing and cleansing my energy. It's going to happen so much more effortlessly. When it comes to like how we like interact with each other and black magic, it's a whole other can of worms. So I believe, and let's open that can of worms. I believe that the slave system that we have been put under control of I'll just specifically speak to the US, and I think Australia is in the same handbasket. I think the UK is in the same handbasket, and I think Canada really is. It's like these more advanced Western societies, especially after watching the pandemic, I'm like, oh no, like we're just further on the agenda of programming than these other countries. And so the really interesting thing about this, right, is that one of the keys to black magic is that you have to have somebody's consent. That's the rule.
Wow.
That's the playbook. So how do you get consent? Terms and conditions, buying a ticket. So like, let's say you buy a ticket. I was just talking about this last night. Don't go and see the second Doctor Strange movie, but I'm going to tell you how this movie was completely littered in black magic. When you buy the ticket, so you're giving consent. I just exchanged money to witness and experience this movie. So they have a character in there that's a woman, a witch. She's very upset, and they literally use her character to litter the entire movie with sigils. Sigils are a symbol of mind control. Aleister Crowley was somebody who's very well known for the creation of sigils. You can create sigils as a symbol that really helps consciousness. They're basically seated symbols. So if you put on you put an intention on a symbol, it's enough to basically like stamp an intention into the subconscious of whoever it is that sees it. So there's a lot of these symbols that we have in our world today that stamp our consciousness that literally actually contribute to the kind of subconscious agreement that we all have that this table is hard and you are you and I am me and we are separate and it's a different thing. Well, when we go beyond the physical, we actually start stepping into this non-physical realm of understanding that the currents of energy that are moving through actually bond us in so many ways, and that this table isn't actually solid. It's a bunch of molecules that are moving around. So in the empty space, this table is malleable. So when it comes to black magic, and specifically with the Doctor Strange movie, we have these sigils that are stamping the intention of the viewer with what the creators of this decided to do. Now, they also introduced the Fantastic Four by a group of people whose name I am not going to say on this platform, but ultimately it was a confirmation that this is exactly what's going on. So I believe that part of the media programming, and also why in the United States we focus so much on those Salem witch trials. It's like a subconscious, like if you're a woman and you're practicing magic, don't do this because we'll kill you. And it's still there. It's like, will that happen then? But it's still kind of programming the mentality of don't be powerful, don't connect to your power, don't connect to the elements, don't connect to these things. And I also think that the reason they say don't connect to black magic in so many ways is because then you don't know how to recognize it. So when you understand what black magic is, not that you need to necessarily put it into action in your own life, but to understand what it is, you're able to identify it. And once you're able to identify it, you're able to see like, oh my gosh, like we are pickled in it in this world. And so it is up to us to embody the light, embody the way of consciousness that is actually going to help birth the new reality into form. That's the can of worms. And there's so much to all of that. Yeah, I I was actually like woken up in the middle of the night the other night, 2 nights ago. And I was shown, because this is the third time I've been in a country where Ramadan has started, a Muslim country when Ramadan has begun. And I've also actually had a lot of friends that I can ask these very intimate, kind of kindergarten questions about it, because I was raised in the States, so we didn't have a lot of conversations about it. And I found it very interesting about how the prophet, kind of came into this world really with the intention of bringing order to chaos. And that, in the Christian theology, they say that God sent his only son to die for our sins. I don't believe that at all. I actually believe that Jesus was an embodiment of what we are capable of doing, and that Jesus was embodying an extraordinary amount of light, and specifically plasma. And plasma is a very dense, energetic composition that has an extraordinary amount of information and light in it. And so recently, let's say in the last year, so many times in my meditations, I can feel plasma coming through. It's not just light energy. It's actually plasma coming through, because the world is ready for it. We're shifting into a new way of being, and a lot of that comes from sovereignty. Well, the sovereignty also comes from personal responsibility, for taking 100% responsibility for our lives, which is probably some of the most daunting things that most people can think of. We'd rather go, well, it's because of that, it's because of that, it's because of that. It's not because of me. But when we go, okay, wait, what if it is because of me? Well, it puts all of the power back in your hands. And your power being back in your hands gives you more of the opportunity to pull the levers, which is essentially what manifesting is.
You're going to have to give me some time to process all that.
Yeah, I think just to sum that up, it really is about honoring the truth that is within ourselves and being relentless with the search within, rather than externally trying to look for answers. Like with my teaching, I've been training psychics now since 2016. Since before that, but actually started my business then. And
can anybody be a psychic, or you have to have that ability and you need to highlight it?
Okay, so great question. Some athletes are natural talent. Some musicians are natural talent. Everybody can be a musician. Everybody can be an athlete.
Wow.
Some psychics are natural talent. Some people have to just spend a little bit more time understanding and focusing on it.
Wow. Interesting.
But we are all a spirit before we are a body. And so that spirit that we are before the moment of conception, that our consciousness exists, our consciousness was there for many, 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 many of these experiences, about to be birthed into the human form. It's that I believe that there are some of us who are starseeds, some of us who are indigo children, some of us who are souls that volunteered from other planets, from other star systems, to come and help reharmonize Earth. Earth is very out of whack. It's on a frequency level. You can go to, you can Google search the frequency sound of planets, and there's a harmony that is the sound frequency of these other planets they've been able to measure. And then you get to Earth and it's it's oh my gosh, it's you can't even hear it, sort of thing. And so I think when I heard that, it clicked so many things for me, and the understanding of why I've always had this deep homesickness that I couldn't explain. Why do I feel like I'm not from here? Why do I feel like I don't belong? But I have this very, very passionate love for the people that are on this planet and for Gaia. And so, yeah, to get back to your original question is can everybody be a psychic? The short answer is that we all are a spirit before we are a human body. That spirit that is you, the consciousness of your immortality, the consciousness of your immortal soul, has access to infinite intelligence. And so we agree to amnesia. We agree to forget where we came from. And so in the way that we can clear that amnesia, we start to access our soul memories. And so I believe that through accessing our soul memories, our abilities start coming on more so than learning tools and tricks. And the soul memories are here. They're in the consciousness of our heart. which is what requires a lot of healing to start accessing that.
How many souls are there?
It'd be the same as me asking you that question.
You wouldn't know? You wouldn't know? Well, there's 8 billion people on this planet.
Yeah. Well, souls...
And trees have souls.
Okay.
Right? That's
I
what
would
you
say
said
their
to me.
spirit is a tree.
Spirit, okay. Is souls and spirits the same thing?
So let's say when you astral travel, your astral body is leaving your body, but your soul isn't. Your soul leaves your body when you die.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I've ever really been able to fully kind of, and maybe it's just that we don't even necessarily have the terms to be able to describe that accurately. I have read somebody's past life where they had an experience being a cloud. And
Wow.
and the lesson in that, I was like, oh, this is so bizarre. But the lesson in that was to just to observe, to just witness, to just watch, to not interfere, to not participate. It was just like, just watch.
So, trying to get my words together. If there's, let's say, 50 billion living organisms on the earth, including us as humans, right? And then tomorrow it becomes 60 billion. Where does the additional 10 billion come from? Is it birth souls? And if there is birth souls, can souls die?
I believe that the idea of souls dying is actually a soul returning fully and merging back into source.
Okay. Interesting. And can souls be born?
Absolutely.
Souls can be born as well.
So the birth of a soul, this is where dragons come in. The birth of a soul is, okay, so source consciousness, as you can imagine it, a living, thriving, super power of energy beyond anything that we could really comprehend. We have just a teeny tiny little bit of it inside of our own heart. It's the spark of divine consciousness that lives inside of us. That little light, you're gonna let it shine, that whole thing, right? So it's that God spark, the monad, the molecule that is within. That is the fractal that is you, that is the fractal that is me, that is the fractal that is every single person listening to this. It is the core frequency that we exist at our base, that is the exact same frequency. That's the oneness of all that is. So the spark is really that there is an intention for a life experience to happen. And it doesn't even necessarily mean that it has to start on Earth. So when you say how many souls are in existence, it's also, okay, well, can we take into consideration other galaxies, other universe? Like, like how expansive does that go? And that's where I'm like, I don't even know if I could count that high. I don't know, like, where you could even go with that conversation. But ultimately, the birthing of a soul is that initial intention to fractal from source that then starts birthing the soul's experience into reality. The dragons come in on that because the seraphim, so you could see it as seraphim angels or seraphim dragons. Seraphim is an indicator of basically the closest messengers to God. They are the ones that can vibrate at the frequency, the consciousness that is source consciousness. It is a creator spirit. God is also a word that has so much energy on it that I think it can actually get construed from, if we go, okay, well, like beyond that. And so the seraphim are the highest order that can connect to that energy that helps to birth, like basically soul nurseries, that starts to birth that experience into, okay, coming to Earth, or maybe going to the galaxy Andromeda, or maybe going to a galaxy, whatever else there is, or whatever other options there are. So it can get quite complex. It is very complex.
You went to Egypt.
Yes.
What did you see?
What did I see? I mean, I saw evidence of giants.
Of giants.
Yes. I mean, I saw so many things. I could answer that question in so many different ways. Yeah. Because I'm there at the pyramids and I'm like, okay, these things existed way, way, way before the last flood. Like, to me, I was like, this is obvious. This isn't even a question, you know? But this was also earlier this year. I was in Peru and I was at some of these sacred sites where there were meteors that were on the earth that had thrones carved into them. And you're like, what? Like, what? This is insane. And so to have that experience and then come to the pyramids was like, okay, like this clearly was before the last flood. This clearly was before the ancient Egyptians as we know it. This clearly was like here way, 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 way longer. So I'm like, okay, I also don't have an answer as to how those were created. I have a lot of theories and speculations also given my research and understanding, which I've dedicated my life to on a daily basis for the last 15 years.
So you believe it's not man-made?
100%.
Not man-made?
Not man-made. Yeah. Not man-made. No way. And I believe that the pyramids are probably even way, way, way older than we even have carbon dating to even measure. Personally,
wow.
I don't believe that the tomb, the king's chamber, was a tomb. I don't believe that either. I believe that is a way to manufacture a. I don't know. It's just like a very, very heightened energy center. The second I even got into proximity of the pyramid, the first thing that came out of my life was, oh, this changes people's lives. Like, this will change your life. You go and you're around it, and just the energy that it's emanating will change your life. It's
in a good way?
In a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way, because it's going to strip you of any lies that you've told yourself or anything that, like... It's just going to illuminate what's true.
But why is Egypt not a wealthy country? Why is there so much poverty?
I have so many questions about that. Let's go back to the giants, because this is what blew my mind. So I was there with a friend. We went to a bunch of different temple sites, and the last one that we went to is the second to last one we went to is called Kamumbo. Like, the temple's missing. It's really bizarre. You go to Dendera, whole temple's there. You go to Esna, whole temple's there. Luxor temple, there's pieces missing, but like the temple's there. This one, Kamumbo, like some of it is gone. And so some of it, right, is like there were pieces that were sold to go to places all over the world, to museums and that sort of stuff. So you'll see like a block that has different, just different symbols, different gods, different whatever it is. And okay, so some of that makes sense, but then on this one, I was like, wait, hang on, because there's the god foot that is like, let's say maybe 20 inches long of Horus or Hathor or Osiris or any of those, and then there's literally this foot that was like 3 times bigger than it on the carvings. And the Egyptians do not make any mistakes. I mean, I was even incredibly blown away that if these temples were built over thousands of years, then they would have had thousands of different artists that were there carving all of this. Every single temple looks exactly the same. Exactly the same. And every single piece is completely different. So they weren't using stamps, but what were they doing? Like the articulation of it in the stones is absolutely pristine and absolutely perfect. So to see this massive foot, I was like, I knew it. I was like, there's what we've been looking for. And so you see the feet, and then literally the rest of the temple is gone. Made no sense. That was a big mystery that I saw in Egypt.
Human-like?
Human-like.
Human-like
foot. Human-like foot, giant foot.
Wow.
It was a huge wow. I don't know what it all means, you know? And I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist, and I'm actually wildly analytical. I actually did a brain scan last night, and he was like, I thought your brain would have been the opposite because you're channel, but he's like, you're very analytical. Like, you're very, I forget if it's left brain or right brain. But he's like, I wouldn't have thought this. This is like mathematician type of scan of your brain. And I was like, well, yeah, because I don't speak to anything that I haven't had a personal experience with, which I think is what fuels my curiosity in such a way that it like, the more I learn, the less I know. Like going to Egypt, it's not even that it was humbling. It was just like, yo, like, this world is nuts. And so for me, it's like, okay, now that I have all this information, how does that serve me in my life? And I just see that it's like, it's brought a new invigoration and like childlike play in my heart to just continue to maximize the present moment. In every single moment, it just gets better and better.
Sorry, I just saw that in the corner of my eye. But did you see any, like, did you see pharaohs? Did you hear voices?
I saw a man at a party. That
Egyptian party.
Egyptian party.
Okay.
Or at this place we're staying in Luxor. And I immediately said to my friend, I was like, that man was a pharaoh. Like past life, 100%. I'm like, he is holding the frequency of pharaoh keys. Like,
also, no, there was an actual man physically in front of you.
Physically in front of me.
That was pretty. And was he Egyptian?
Yes, he was Egyptian. And it you know, like you were saying with the Master Shri's story, to me, it was just like, boom, his energy hit me so hard. And I just like the facial features, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And so what I also believe is that, and this can kind of be seen as a little bit delulu, because the first time that I actually started tuning into this, I was like, okay, interesting. Because you have so many people in this world that are like, I was Isis, I was Osiris, I was, fill in the blank.
Do you mean Cyrus the Great?
Osiris, the Egyptian god.
Okay. Yeah.
Osiris.
Okay.
So, I actually believe that there are a lot of us in this world that are actually living out the Egyptian stories as fractals of that consciousness. So when I started learning about Hathor and my light code started coming through, I kind of played this like cosmic, are you my mother? I went to the Palladians. I'm like, no, okay, Syrians, no, but something's there. Okay, Arcturians, no, okay. And so I was like, okay, guides, like help me out. Like what just, I just got blasted with light codes. I had no idea really what was happening. It was still foreign to me. And so I used Google to search. I said, just lead me to the information I need to know. And I found my way to a site by Tom Kenyon, who channeled the Magdalene manuscripts as well as the Hathor material. And I read through the story of it on his site, and I just had rolling chills and like emotions moving through my body. So then I got into the Sophia Code, and I read through Hathor's chapter, and they talk even more about her abilities. I was like, okay, I have a lot of those abilities. Wow. And then when we went to Peru, one of my natural gifts that I was never taught is the ability to cross earthbounds, so to essentially ghosts. It's the ability to basically open the rainbow bridge and help them transition into the next step, especially if they've gotten like stuck here. That's a whole other can of worms. But when we were in Peru, I started learning a little bit more about Hathor because I was like, it was just resonating so strong. And Peru is a place where they performed human sacrifice. And so there's like certain sites that are very, very heightened in energy. And it's very, very interesting, especially as a medium, walk around some of these sites. And what I looked up was that not only was she the divine mother to bring star seeds from the consciousness of where they were, but to also interweave them into this physical earth plane reality so that they could have physical human bodies. That's why Hathor is known as a divine mother to many, but that she also in all of the tombs was there because she is walking them across the rainbow bridge, essentially back home after they die. And so I absolutely love and adore and align with that frequency. And so when I went into Dendera, I actually just started bawling. I had a full, like, visceral, physical body reaction. I had a lot of channels that came through there. I felt like I had been there before. I also felt like it was such an honor to be in a place where Hathor's energy was so concentrated. And so, there's so many mysteries to what it is that's going on in this world, but also the more that I've kind of met people and asked, like, on the Egyptian scale, who are you? It's really kind of interesting when you start connecting with people that have a very, very strong resonance either with the gods or some of the pharaohs. Because in Egypt, they say Egypt is everybody's home. And I think we all have a piece of us that resonates so clearly and so strongly with what happened in Egypt for thousands of years.
Well, the first civilization, weren't they?
After the last flood.
After the last flood.
After the last flood. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on this
so
planet before the last flood.
So the flood wiped out all the civilization. Mm-hmm. And then after the last flood, it was Egyptian.
And Mayan and Peruvian, Mesopotamia. Yeah, there's a lot. They say that after the fall of Atlantis, which happened also during the flood, I think it was longer than that personally, but that there was a consciousness. There were beings that went from Atlantis to South America, and they also came to Egypt. And so the birth of the Egyptian gods really started, after that last flood. So being there and curious about the origin story, that was my big question at Dendera, was how did this get started? How did these gods become gods? Because if you look at it, it's also like one of the longest standing religions that we have on this planet was that. There's so much. I could go so much more into it. But as we are closing up our time together, do you have any closing thoughts or any...
I have another question.
Okay, one more question. We'll go with it quick.
Sex. Have you ever had sex with somebody and been like... Because obviously sex is an exchange of energy. And been like, there's a demon in this guy or something.
1,000%. Unfortunately, yes.
And then you're like, I need to clean the house. This guy needs to leave. I'm going to call the cleaners and I need to clean the house and bless this house. That's happened to you?
And my body.
How do you bless your body?
Lots of different cleansing.
Beach.
Yoni steams for women. Yoni steams are a really incredible way to actually clear, because you use the consciousness of the herbs to go in, clear, cleanse. You really have to cut all karmic ties, agreements. Like from an energetic and soul level, people are very naive to what happens during sex. Very, very naive. And myself included for many years, because I was a product of the environment I grew up in. And to learn how sacred and learn how holy that act is actually with another person, that it, like with the intention of two parties, it knows that the ancient Egyptians actually believed that orgasm was the closest experience that we could have in experiencing God. That it's like a flash of the joy, the pleasure, the expansion that is source. And it's like what our human bodies can actually hold and experience. And so when you have that intention of really visiting your own creator through sex, it actually brings a whole other level of intention to who you are choosing to go down that path with.
But you don't know until you do it.
What do you mean?
You don't know if they've got good energy or bad energy until you actually have sex with them.
I think you do.
You can tell?
Yeah. Sometimes it opens up, obviously, in a deeper way, but I think that's why it's really important to get to know the people that you're having sex with.
Yeah, before you have sex with them. Like an intimate dinner, you could they would open up and you'd be able to see.
Sometimes it may take a couple times.
Yeah. Okay, that was my question.
All right. We could do a whole podcast on that. But any closing thoughts? Any closing?
You're supposed to podcast to me.
I know, but you're the podcaster, so.
I know, so I took it over. My apologies. To be honest with you, you're talking at a frequency it's hard for me to understand. So it's one of those things where I need to actually sit down and watch it again. That's why when you say something, I'm like, I don't know what to say to that, because I have no idea what frequency that is. But I think I got all the answers that I wanted. But
it'll keep marinating.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
New industry for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you for coming on my podcast.
Thank you for coming on my podcast. Yeah, I just so thoroughly enjoyed our conversation and interaction on the last one. So I appreciate your willingness to hop in this chair and, just really get into some of the meat and potatoes of what's really going on in this world. There's so much more, and there's so many other, like deeper conversations that can happen in this way. But I really appreciate your curiosity and just the willingness to open so many of these doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually very excited when we did our podcast.
Yeah.
I told my mom, and she's like, sending me questions, ask her this, ask her this. Have you ever encountered a demon? Have you ever this and that? So
I love it.
It's in editing right now, so it should be out soon.
Amazing. Well, again, thank you so much. And where can people find your podcast?
Just find me on Instagram, Radin Jahromi.
Yes, we'll put all the links below. You'll be able to connect with it. Again, thank you so much. And I like to end with the closing prayer. As we go forth, may we integrate the healing and the lessons received with courage, self-love, and compassion. Our session is very much in love and very much complete. Thank you, Angel, for entering this sacred conversation with me today. If this transmission touched something within you, there's so much more waiting. You can step deeper into this work through our digital courses, each one designed to awaken remembrance and guide you into your next expansion. You'll find them inside the Temple of Monad Academy, linked in the show notes. And if you'd love to stay connected with my current offerings, daily transmissions, and behind the veil teachings, join me over on Instagram at sitara.speaks. That's where I share what's alive in the field right now. So until we meet again, remember, you are the embodiment of ancient light in modern form. Thank you again for connecting today, and I look forward to the next time we meet.